I want to welcome to the program Phillips Swanson with the Centrepolis Accelerator here on the campus of Lawrence Technological University. Centrepolis Accelerator is one of the nation's few manufacturing and physical product focused business accelerators, rather than software and services and apps and that kind of thing. Although they do get into some services too, the primary focus is the development of new physical products, both by startups and established companies. And they have a whole raft of resources for people who want to introduce new physical products. But Philip, why don't you tell the folks just a little bit about the services offered by Centrepolis, and then we'll get into this latest grant.
Yeah, Centrepolis at its core, like you said, is a hard tech accelerator. And we offer those services to not only startups, but established businesses through a bevy of different programming. But really that programming is focused on helping take physical products and products and services or service as physical products from, that first idea stage all the way to manufacturability. And that's the real differentiator, right? A lot of accelerators are doing your standard, 12-week business kind of case development, your typical business formation type of services. We take that next step and we actually do design for manufacturability assessments. We help with prototyping. We help with customer discovery and validation with those physical prototypes. And we do that through non-dilutive funding and grants, through, like I said, different programs with a big focus on hard tech in the clean technology space, as well as mobility and manufacturing technologies.
And let me leap in real quick. I mean, I think all you guys who are instructors actually come out of the industry, do you not?
Excuse me, what was that?
I said you guys are who are the instructors at the accelerator? Many of you come out of the manufacturing industry, right?
Yes. So yeah, our people who are actually running and instructing and providing the services as experts and residents, they're all industry professionals. We have about 40 experts and residents on staff that can come alongside of the startups and can actually be the people delivering some of these services. But yeah, myself, background 12 years in industry at Whirlpool Corporation, Dan, 30 plus years across manufacturing. Others have 20, 30 years in mobility development, energy, advanced materials, chemistry. And so that's one of the big differentiators too, is we're all experienced operators or professionals in a given space, not just on the startup formation side.
Yeah, and not just economic development officials. These are people
exactly
in the trenches making products, working production lines, working manufacturing lines. These are people who have done the job, and so they know what it takes. I wanted to talk to you today in particular about a new partnership with the MEDC, Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and its Office of Future Mobility and Electrification to help manufacturers with mobility prototypes. And so there's some grant funding available, I guess, to businesses that are interested in introducing new mobility products.
Yeah, so this is a really exciting partnership, like you said, with the Office of Future Mobility and Electrification, who we've worked with really closely in this ecosystem. You can imagine, they're over down at Michigan Central, not too far away from where we are. And through really how this came to be is obviously Michigan has this, benefit of being a mobility hub, not just because of the big three, but because of all the supporting infrastructure that's been built over the years. And so, through our, talks and collaborations with the OFME and the MEDC over the years, we saw really a gap in that hard tech space in terms of funding. And this really impacts mobility companies. So as we were starting to bring companies in this programming, whether it was through Centrepolis or the OFME's programming or other partners like New Lab, we really wanted to say, okay, how can we actually help some of these companies pilot things or actually take some of their products from those stages of development or benchtop development to actual manufacturability. And so we said, okay, what can we put together to help bridge that gap from a funding perspective? And that's where this next grant came from. We have about $500,000 available in $50,000 increments. And that grant can be used for product development services, manufacturability services, product testing and validation, but it's really meant to help those founders, with those mobility focused businesses get to that next step of manufacturability and scale.
Talk a little bit about how many companies Centrepolis has helped. I know it was established in 2018, had its formal grand opening in 2019. Then along with everything else, it kind of got turned sideways a bit by the pandemic, but it's come roaring back now. You guys have helped hundreds of companies with these things, right?
Yes, when we talk about the number of companies we've helped, there's the number of companies we've invested in through our seed grants and some other programmings, and then there's the companies that we provide tactical services to. And when you put that together, it's hundreds of companies that we've helped over the last 2 or 3 or last 4 or 5 years. Myself, I've been involved with Centrepolis over the last 2, and I personally have been involved in about 20 some investments. And then also, helping probably just equally as many companies in terms of, my services with those companies as an expert in residence. And now moving into this more, program director role, helping with, industrial decarbonization and the venture development side in our venture studio model that we are really, kind of champion. But yeah, we're now in excess of 200 companies that we serviced, and just keeps growing in terms of tactical services, and then the companies that we invest in with grants like this, it's going to keep growing. We're just extremely excited we've been able to fill that hard tech gap.
Let me ask one more question here, real quick. Do you have any companies you can point to that sort of graduated from the accelerator? They're doing really well, as an example, perhaps?
Yeah, so we talk about companies that have graduated, right? So we have companies like Intercells or Merrill Power, are companies that we've had really intimate relationships with, or LilyPad Labs, with their solar powered and EV powered boat, right? Essentially a boat for inland lakes, and those are companies that we invested in early on. Very hard tech in the case of Intercells, right? With a different anode cathode type technology for EV batteries, or with LilyPad Labs, where you're more of a system integrator, taking existing technologies, integrating them into a unique design that fits really a nice niche in terms of that inland water sports or leisure activity space. And so, we were able to help with design and engineering resources for both of them, providing them with investment and funding through our seed grant to help them tool up, meet manufacturing partners, and actually have a lot of their technologies manufactured and built here in Michigan. Another great example is a company called Celsius, which is on the chemical side. They have a unique proprietary chemistry that can be used in areas all the way from cleaning chips during the manufacturing process, silicon wafers, all the way to where they actually saw scale up with being applied to the pet industry as a cleaning solution, and an aid for helping certain I would say pet diseases like ear mites and things of that nature. So we've been able to help those companies find those product niches that help them scale up, whether that technology is developed for one thing, and say, okay, actually the opportunity for you to scale this is in another, so that you can continue to work on some of the deeper tech. But those are just a couple examples. There's numerous others, especially when you get into the electrification mobility space, that we're focusing on with this grant. And when you talk about those focus areas, it's across all different mobility sectors, from passenger and light vehicles to military ground vehicles, commercial vehicles, 2- and 3-wheel, so your bikes and your quads, to light rail, marine, aerospace, drones, and off-road. So it's really sector agnostic mobility. We want to focus on that clean tech space, startups, but also small and medium businesses that are already existing. So we're not not excluding businesses that are already 20, 30, 40 years old, that are in that small and medium enterprise space, that want to take an innovation they have in-house, external, or move it to that next step so they can help commercialize it.
And I know, as in most of its programs, this one also has a focus on underrepresented groups, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, stuff like that, correct?
Very, very much so. Yep. So we, like everything we do here at Centrepolis, we like to focus, like you said, on those underserved and underrepresented groups. So, the way that we evaluate, this, there's going to be an extra emphasis placed on those underrepresented groups, from women founders to founders with disabilities, people of color, cities, disadvantaged cities, and those are going to be a key consideration for us. And we make sure to partner with organizations as well. So part of this is providing that grant money and services to whether it's Centrepolis doing the work or we're contracting through a Michigan-owned business. Our Michigan-owned partner, we're making sure that those underrepresented communities and founders are represented in that talent pool of organizations that are that we're partnering with. And really that's to create that, economic vibrance, right? We talk about supply chain resiliency and building Michigan and focusing on made in Michigan and Michigan manufacturers and that supply chain. This helps us keep that money in Michigan and attract new businesses here, because the companies that qualify are going to come from all over the place, but there's going to be extra incentives for those companies to, obviously partner with Michigan-based organizations through this program. And some of those key metrics for us are, X amount of companies being relocated to Michigan, X amount of products being developed here in Michigan, X amount of dollars being put into Michigan manufacturing partners, whether that be from the design, the tooling, et cetera. And that's really been the big benefit of Centrepolis and our ecosystem, is we've been able to help keep that money and that product development here in Michigan versus spreading it out to the coasts.
And how does one find out more about this new grant and get involved with Centrepolis Accelerator?
So, the easiest way to get involved with Centrepolis is to go to our website at centrepolisaccelerator.com. And for this specific grant, you can visit michiganbusiness.org/mobility funding/mobility prototype grant. Or you can email me, pswanson, PSWANSON @LTU.edu, and I'll be happy to point anyone in the right direction. And you'll be able to find a lot of information on Centrepolis' website as well. But if you have any questions or any doubts, please reach out to me personally. It's one of the things I do best is helping point people in the right direction.